So I'm traveling to Brazil for an event. So I want to be able to know, what's going on with public transport. What's a good way to get around the city? How do I find that information out? Fortunately, big city here has a SPTrans. They have a developer access. You can sign up, get data real time with REST. Well, once you said real time with REST, there's only one solution, NiFi. Uh, for testing, I am just grabbing the data once a minute or on demand here. We could be grabbing it more. There is a decent amount of data. There's a lot of different endpoints. I'm just going to look at vehicle positions. That shows me where the buses are everywhere, pretty easy. This one, we have to authenticate first. The hard part for me was all the dev information is in Portuguese. So I had to translate that. So we got that going. Once we have that, grab all the cookies, important, because they're going to give us a cookie we need to share on. If you haven't done that one before, so you got to see that one. Make sure we get through here, update any metadata we might need. And I'm going to call the second one, this is the vehicle position API. Again, you can see that it's in Portuguese. And we got to pass in a cookie. This one is kind of interesting. The cookie we got from the last call is an attribute. We just send it along and we will get the data back, a lot of it. Here, I'm going to extract out the current time for this data. And I'm going to assign it to a whole bunch of records. We get back a big JSON file that has all for that one time. I'm going to break out all those individually. And then I'm going to grab some other attributes that are high level, direction, the identifier of the bus, where it's going, what line it's on. Also, how many vehicles right now. Split out those vehicles. And now I'm going to combine all that together for the time. So we have a nice flat record. We've got a lot of them, but I like a lot of data. Get it to me, it has all the data. It's flat, linear, easy to process. Rename a couple fields that make a little more sense for me. Lat long, vehicle prefix, and make sure it's JSON and put the schema and topic I want here so I can make it generic. I have this stopped so that when I get to the next level, you can watch it. Otherwise, those 16,000 records go really fast. Now, we have that coming into Kafka. As you can see, the last step here will run once. You can see 500 at a pop. So I've got this topic here, SPTrans vehicle positions. And you can see we've got a lot of data in here already. And it's just JSON data. It's, what line is it, timestamp, destination, origin, lat long. So we could push this on a map later, and we'll figure out what kind of map we're going to do when we're doing all those demos. But we have data, it's coming in. And since we have data coming in, we can take a look at that data as it's coming in with Flink SQL through SQL Stream Builder. Let's look under the covers, make sure my Flink job is still working, still running. This is all running in Docker on my laptop. I'm going to put all the source code and all the docs in a GitHub to be able to run along. Let's run a couple more of these. As you can see, 500 at a pop. Probably leave it running for a few seconds. Make sure we get data in and then stop it so we have to keep a little data left here. Otherwise, it's going to go through that pretty quickly. So you can see we got a couple different records here at some different latitudes, but obviously within the same city. So it's, you're going to go around the city map, pretty big city in Brazil. And we can see the information here. Here you can see the time. And we've got the timestamp there, so we know what day it is. And we also have UTC time. So we've got all that we need there. Let's have event time that went into Kafka if we need that. And you can see these all happened at that same minute. But I'll let a couple more of these come in so we can see that. We're just doing a sampling here. If you want to change that, We could change that to grab every record. Again, we know this is a lot of data. We might not want to do that. I've got a bunch of data. As you can see, it's a continuous query. As we get another record in, it's going to show it. This is designed to sample it every second. But we could do something like insert it into another Kafka topic or put it in some kind of data store. We may have run out of data there. 15,000 records goes really fast. And you can see, we can look at the lineage here. See if we changed anything. We had that content type and schema there. We could see how it went in Kafka. Again, that's the end of the line for this data. It went to Kafka, so we track it from there. One message at a time. You can see all that metadata there. We could have it batch it if we don't want to do event at a time. Lots of things we could play with depending on what performance needs you have. Again, these are 500 a second on my laptop that's running NiFi, Kafka, Flink, Postgres, my browser, Zoom, all that fun stuff. So we got a decent amount of data here. If we wanted to, we could create a materialized view from that based on the data coming in. I didn't really pick a primary key here. I can add one. We have a unique ID on every record. We can do that, or we can, add multiple ones here. That might be it. Let's change this up. Add unique ID, as you can see here, IntelliSense there. Gonna restart this. Probably gonna have to send some data there. I could also trick it by giving it a new Kafka name, so it would have to read from the beginning of the queue. As you saw on the Kafka topic, we got a lot of data here, and we could take a look at that. As you can see here, 16 megs worth of data, decent amount we pumped in there pretty quickly. But we'll just run another one. Again, this is running, as long as the transit is running. So that's a lot of data. As you can see here, a bunch of data came. We're going to pause it so we don't get too much. Okay, so we got data. We got our unique ID there. Let's create a materialized view using a real ID. We're going to enable this materialized view, recreate it. Don't show any nulls. Instead of time, now we could maintain it for a certain amount of time, and if data freshness is important, that might be what you want to do. But if you're not leaving it run all the time, like for me, I am not, because doing demos and other stuff, I'm going to need to create a new API key for this. One ID per materialized view. So this is Brazil transit. I might grab some other sources of Brazil data later. We'll see. Okay, so I got that. Got a unique ID. I'm going to retain at least 1,000 rows for the last 1,000. Let's add a query, the pattern, transit. Make something nice. What fields do we want? I'm going to gig them all. Any of these I don't want. These were kind of dupes, so we don't need 2 dates. But again, easy way to change stuff. You can also add filters. You don't want to show everything. Pretty easy. This is the Brazil transit view. And I can use this to do analytics later. So let's get some more data flowing. That's popping through. Once you had to rebuild the job, now that we got that view there, it's got some data coming through. We're going to run out of data soon, but that's fine. So we've got data coming in. It's live. Let's see if we've got this filled yet. I don't know if I've got 1,000 records here yet. It's going to take a little bit. Let me pump some more data in there. Should be fresh data by now. It's probably updated every minute. It's hard to read. Maybe someone who has read the data, read the documentation in Portuguese can tell. I think it should be real time updated, but I'm guessing they don't update all these buses every second here. And I'm still building my view here. Gonna take a little bit, but we're running. Polling things. Let's see. Do we have more data coming in? Oh, did I finish already? Oh, no. We're splitting that data out. That's good. When I have that loading, and we can see what's going on here. 20 megs. We're going to have this data filling up pretty quickly in Kafka. Fortunately, I have a decent amount of disk space here, but As you can see, the data is coming in. We got 21 megs in Kafka already. Got some more rows showing up here. And the recent time, as you can see, more data is coming in. We're starting to process that in NiFi. What do we got left? 4,000. That's gonna be done real quick. Hopefully we sampled enough to get those records in there. We should have them pretty soon. Let's see if we get that materialized view going. They've got everything set here. And we get the minimum. We'll see. It'll probably be ready in a second here. Let's have that go. So we reloaded. Now we've got our data here. So as you can see, this is a REST endpoint of JSON. Here is our way we can convert that real-time data into something easier to consume. You no longer have to have a Kafka consumer here, but obviously you could still do that. And we could have this also push into another Kafka topic or in some data store like Kudu or Iceberg or something cool. But for now, we've got that in our materialized view, and I can read that with Python and a Jupyter notebook, whatever makes sense here, or something. I have some HTML and JavaScript. I can put this in a map because we got those lat longs, which is kind of cool. So we might want to do that, but we'll leave that as an exercise to the future here right now. Taking Brazilian transit data, cleaning it up, flatten it, make it wider, dump it in Kafka, put it in a nice clean JSON format, query that as a table from Flink SQL, push it out as a materialized view. Now everybody can have it. It's very simple.